What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome, I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on the Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show is Oneness. Are we there yet? So I'm your host, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, and I am a medical doctor who turned to be Access Consciousness Facilitator, Akashic Record Teacher, 3-day Body Facilitator, podcast host. I have so many hats, including the being an artist, etc. The idea is that I've always been searching for tools to help people to create a different reality, and it always starts with us. So oneness, are we there yet? What is oneness? What is it that we are looking forward to? What is it that's different that we think it is? Let us play with that idea of oneness and see if we can create it in our lives. Right now, I'm in the middle of the construction. My house is totally demolished. Like the demolition happened Thursday and Friday. I have kind of like bedroom / now kitchen, because I don't have a kitchen. And on the upstairs and downstairs is a small bathroom. That's the only thing that's available right now. And of course, a lot of things are coming up, including about oneness, about judgments, about polarity, what's right, what's wrong, a lot of emotions coming up. So what is oneness? It's actually has nothing to do with outside world. It's a quality or state or fact of being one, such as singleness, integrity, wholeness, harmony, identity, unity, and union and sameness. But it's much more than just those definitions. If we look at that as oneness, as part of the spiritual community of the idea of what oneness is, it's oneness with the spirit, oneness with God, oneness, kind of like that integrity of wholeness, being one with the world. What if that's what it is, being that drop in the ocean, but also being the ocean itself? Are we there yet? Each one of us. And some people might be. I'm still kind of like, I have moments of oneness, especially when I'm in nature. All of you experience those moments of being totally present, totally alive, and one with the whole universe. And that's the oneness I'm talking about. When you're expanded, when you're aware, when you're being. And I'm emphasizing not being something. There's a lot of us being. So being what? Being. Being is a space where we are that oneness. We are that liveliness, the wholeness, the harmony, the union. That's where that space of being, beingness, where that joy, but not ecstatic joy where we're like, ha, 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 I'm happy. No, actually, the real joy is much more quiet, where there is no angst, There is no that ups and downs, the highs and the lows. It's a space of communion with the whole universe, the whole kind of like the world, people, animals. And yet, how many of us have that? Probably not too many, or at least not all the time. As I said, experiencing this for a few minutes is okay. Yeah, we're there. But actually being oneness all the time. So let's play with how we can get there faster and stay in that space. So let's do a little exercise of expansion. And we've done that. And if you're not familiar, if you're first time listening to me or watching me live or in a recording, you can always go to my website, creatingabundancewithease.com, and download the expansion meditation that we're going to do a variation on that. It's literally about being one with everything and yet being you. So if you're sitting and listening, if you're doing anything other than driving or operating heavy machinery, because it's not a good idea to close your eyes. But if you can close your eyes, you don't have to. If just maybe soft focus it, but don't do it when you're driving. Please don't do that meditation when you're driving, because you actually will be entering an altered state of mind. It's not quite like on drugs, but you might have a little different reaction time. So if you can, close your eyes. If not, take a deep breath and open your crown and just allow the light of the universe to flow through your head, through your body, through your legs, and exit it into the earth. Allow the light or energy of the earth to enter through your body, through your head, and exit through the crown. Mix those energies in your heart and allow that energy to flow through your body and enter every single cell of your body. Don't think about it, just be with that. I'll just guide you and drop your barriers and allow that energy to expand beyond your body, kind of like maybe a few inches outside your body. Kind of create a cocoon of the light that you're pulling from the universe, pulling from earth, and allow that cocoon to expand. Maybe if you're in United States, England, or Australia, allow it to expand maybe a mile, 10 miles. And if you're everywhere else, use kilometers when I say miles. I live in the States, so it's easier for me. But you can use miles or kilometers. So 1 mile, 1 kilometer, 10 miles, 10 kilometers, 100 miles, 1,000 miles. Make yourself as big or bigger than our planet. And just allow yourself for that 10 seconds, maybe a minute or 10 minutes that we're together. Allow yourself to be in harmony with our planet, with Earth. and just allow yourself to connect to the mountains, to animals, maybe people, but don't take ownership. Just allow a very soft connection. Just be space that allows everything to exist with no judgment. And just ask planet, earth, people, animals, plants, what can I contribute to you today? And just allow, you don't have to have the answer for that. Just allow the energy to move through you, with you, about you, and just be that space of allowance, of integrity, of wholeness, of unity and harmony. If anything else comes in, don't judge it. Just allow it to pass or be whatever it needs to be to transform into oneness. And just ask again, what can I contribute today to create more oneness, more consciousness in the world? And just allow that space to be. And by the way, if you don't understand English, that's okay. If you don't understand what I'm saying, that's okay too, even if you speak English. Because some of it is energy. Now it's going to be a tricky question. What can I receive today? Earth, planet, and people. What can I receive? And just allow that energy to move. Don't have to have the answer. Answers might come, but don't focus on them. Don't make them important. This is about space of unity, space of harmony. And if any energy comes in or comes out, just allow it. Don't judge it. If anger comes up, if sadness comes up, if tears come up, just allow it. If you start laughing and be joyful, just allow. Don't stop it, but don't focus on it. And again, just ask, Earth, what can you gift me that I can receive? That I'm willing to receive, that I'm able to receive. And just allow that space to be created. If you sense something in your body, just allow it to move and allow the magic to be and to move through you. Because this is all about the space of being. What if it's different? What if that oneness is that space? Oh, wait, it is. It is that space with no judgment, with no projections, expectations, and just be there. And you can stay in that space when we go for our first break of the show. You don't have to get out of that energy. You can continue being expanded And we'll talk more about oneness. We'll talk more about tools, how to be that space. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And we will be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Inspired Choices Network on Creating Abundance with Ease show. And today, our topic is oneness. Are we there yet? And if you missed the first part of the show, you can listen in the recording on multiple podcasts. And you can also listen or watch the archives on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, pretty much like 250 or 300 different platforms of podcast stations, as well as TV station on Binge TV. So please, you're welcome to do. And in the first part, we were talking about the oneness. What is that? That it is a space of being. And we did expansion exercise to demonstrate, and you're welcome to download that from my website, Creating Abundance with Ease. But that's nice and dandy with expansion exercise when we are meditating, when we are doing different energy work or doing different spiritual stuff, mantras, etc. But how do we be that in everyday life, especially when we are triggered? How do we be oneness? Because space of oneness is no judgment. And yet there is so many things that, of course, we have judgments about it. How can I not have judgment about war? How can I have not judgment about the war is wrong, or this is a righteous war, or there is so many judgments, so many points of view about what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad. This what separates us. Instead of being the space of harmony and oneness, integrity and wholeness, we are actually separated in a single units. And a lot of times we are in the place, not space, but place of fighting for or against, defending something, or for or against, or avoiding something for or against. there is so many things that, and of course, relationships. Talk about relationship. It's a distance between 2 points. This is not oneness. This is not communion. And it's always us against them or me against you. But does it have to? How much of all of that doesn't even belong to us? How many of those points of view and judgments do we pick up cognitively, consciously, or unconsciously? Because a lot of those things we pick up energetically. We pick up even when we are in utero from our parents, from the environment. Because baby, when it's growing, it's bombarded by the energy from outside. It senses everything. We say, oh no, this is just the fetus, the brain is under form. Well, let's face it, the brain forms instantly, pretty much like when there is like a tiny fetus, maybe a couple of weeks. The heart is beating within a few weeks. You can probably detect the heart at 6 to 8 weeks. Actually, not probably, you do. And the brain is there too. But is it actually brain that responds to the energy or the whole body? Because think about moments when somebody says something. Is it just in the brain or your whole body contracts? Or you get pain when somebody says something. You don't even realize that that pain connected to some emotions that's sticking you. Because emotions are nothing more than points of view that we are either defending or avoiding. They're emotional points of view that we are defending or avoiding, and they turn into emotions. They turn into feelings, and they are solidified in our body, creating dis-ease. Sometimes, and I would say a lot of people experience when they start having pain, doctors might not be able to find anything wrong. A lot of it is just energetic stuckness, that something solidified, some emotion, some feeling, some thought that is stuck in the muscles, in the organs. And those are that creates the pain, the suffering, and eventually our points of view. Our body is like a little genie or a big genie in a bottle, says, your wish is my command. So anytime when you feel pain and you have a point of view something is wrong, the body will create something is wrong. The body, if your doctor give a suggestion, or it might be a disc, like a lumbar disc or cervical disc, or they might tell you, oh, you have probably heart disease, we just cannot find it. You'll create it eventually on a physical level. Everything starts on energetic level, because we are oneness, that space. We're energy. We are that kind of like, if you talk to a physicist or quantum mechanics, especially like theoretical physicists, they'll tell you the body is not solid. We know that. Idealists knew that 2000 years ago, that body is not solid. This is all thought. That's their idea, that our bodies are just an idea. Versus materialists think that body is material. It's only this, but material, like the matter, if you break down, like look under the microscope, the cells, they're not solid. They have molecules and atoms. molecules made up of atoms that's in space, and the atoms themselves are not solid. It's a nucleus with electron floating around. An electron is not actually a solid particle. It can be if it chooses, or it can be a acoustical wave or energy wave. The nucleus is not solid, not like we thought it was. It contains neutrons, protons, which also consist of different kinds of radiation or energy that vibrates at different frequencies. So we are energy, and our energy connected to everything. Like, it's not different. Like, our bodies are made of the same energy as this computer or this table or this chair that I'm sitting on that's squeaking periodically. And if you don't like it, too bad. I'm actually not sorry, because it gives me an idea of talking about the irritants, because there are always some irritants in the world. Somebody is squeaking around you, and by squeaking I don't mean talking. I'm talking about somebody annoying you in a different ways. And all of it is just another energy vibration. If we recognize that everything is just energy, which is pretty much like looking at the air we breathe. Think about that. When we breathe the oxygen in and breathe it out, that molecules or atoms or that energy that we breathe out flows out somewhere else, that somebody else will be breathing maybe in half an hour, maybe next year. And all energy gets information, so that we breathe in, those molecules have imprinted some other thoughts, feelings, and emotions that we receive. So what if instead of reacting to things around us, we look at that as, oh, interesting point of view. I have this interesting point of view. Interesting point of view. They have this interesting point of view. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view about their point of view. This is actually, we're talking about tools of access consciousness. That was created by Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane here. And you can find out more about access consciousness on my page, Creating Abundance with Ease, or on accessconsciousness.com page. And there is links kind of like going back and forth. And if you're interested about classes on those tools, you can always find them around the world. So how can we be separate if we are breathing the same air as everybody else on this planet? How can we be separate if we consist and made up of the same energy as everyone and everything on this planet? And I will leave you with this thought, because it's time for our second break of the show. And when we return, we'll talk more about oneness and how we can stay there in that space. And if you have any questions, you are welcome to go to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com/chatroom and ask questions there, and I'll answer them live if you're listening to the show, or just send it to me before next one, because it's every Wednesday at 11 o'clock. If you have any questions, you can always contact me. So you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. and we will be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease on Inspired Choices Network. And today our show topic is oneness. Are we there yet? And if you're just joining us now, we've been talking about kind of energy, that we are energy and it's the same energy as everything and everyone around us. In the second part, in the first, we did an expansion exercise or meditation on oneness, kind of like connecting to the space of being, which is pretty much oneness. And so with all of that, in reality, because we were talking about that oneness is the harmony, the integrity, the union, the unity, all of it and more. Because in reality, there is no definition of oneness, it just is. I remember going to, I think it was Hindu temple, and there was kind of like a little plaque that explained creation of the world, the creation of the universe, that there was one with no name. And it was kind of interesting, kind of like it wasn't this, it wasn't that, it wasn't that, that created gods. It's one of the theories. If you're religious and I'm upsetting your religious beliefs, so yeah, I'm like totally ready to upset any religious beliefs. I'm willing to upset or not upset anybody or anything if it creates more awareness. And that's kind of like where oneness actually comes in, because there is no judgment. Because it's a simple. We are one. It different religions are just different separation. Because we are one. Everything else is just a story. Like there's an article by Larry Little, Thoughts on Oneness. And I like what he said. To access the simplicity of oneness is complicated only by the complexity of our thought forms. And those thought forms are what I'm talking about. People get upset, and I cannot upset you unless you are willing to be upset, unless you allow the upset into the world, into your world. It's pretty much the energy, like we're surrounded by this energy. We are this energy. And yet, when we separate, when we create barriers, it's no longer oneness. It's contracted into a ball or a phone, let's say a phone, or a brick. And now, if you take that brick and hit somebody, that somebody can be hurt. What if we don't solidify it into a brick, but just be oneness? Saying that, we still live in this world that is solid. How do we incorporate both worlds of oneness, where energy, and the physical, that if somebody hits us, it hurts? This is it is magic we're talking about. It's all about thought processes. We are existing in both physical and non-physical. When we have a point of view, this is only physical, that's when it hurts. You've seen, you've heard about people walking on shards of glass, people walking on the coals, hot coals, or walking through fire, or being immersed in ice cold water. If you have any points of view about that, all of those things might or might not hurt you as much as if you do have a point of view. And I'm not talking about cognitive points of view. There's a lot of points of view we have, a lot of thought forms, as Larry Little talks about, or as three principles talk about thoughts. A lot of them are unconscious, not just uncognitive. And I'm using the wrong word, because cognitive is when we actually can kind of like think about it and we can perceive those thoughts. But we can perceive those on an energetic level, a lot of stuff. And yet there is another level where we can't even perceive on energetic stuff because it's buried so deeply that we're not even aware about it until somebody asks a question. With access consciousness, a lot of it's not like, I would say work, but it's not work, it's more play, because if you start working on it, it kind of becomes solid again. But when we play with energy, when we play with the molecules, and Dr. Dane here right now doing 30 days of energetic synthesis of being with just shifting and changing molecules around us, shifting the energy to create a different reality, different world. I guess I lost where I was going with that. Cool. That's funny. But anyway, to be that space of oneness and function in this reality of solidity, it's about letting go of the judgments, letting go of the points of view, no matter what they are. It doesn't matter if the point of view is right or wrong, good or bad. The idea is to be that space, that awareness, because when we are space and have no judgment, we can be aware of anything. On the other side, if we have points of view, it's like, and I've talked about it on many occasions. If you've never listened to my show, you can go to the archives on either Inspired Choices Network or any podcast station on Creating Abundance with Ease and listen to those. When we have a point of view, when we have a judgment, nothing that doesn't match that judgment can even come into our universe. So if you have a point of view about somebody, oh, he or she is a wonderful person. Let's talk about good judgments, not the bad judgments. The good judgments are still judgments. When that person does something hurtful, you will not see it until it actually like in front of your face. You ever seen What the Bleep Do We Know? They're talking about Native Americans and Columbus. When Columbus landed in America, Native Americans never seen ships, so they didn't know that such thing existed. So they didn't see them. All they saw was ripples on the water. And a lot of, because they had a judgment that doesn't exist. And how often do we do that in our lives? Oh, that cannot exist, so we don't see it when it's right in front of our face until it already occurred. Or you're like, yep, it's right there. Same with Native Americans. They saw Columbus landing with his ships. That's when they saw the ships. But they couldn't see them when they were still at sea because they had no idea what they were. They didn't have any concept of that. So what if we actually be the space of everything with no judgment, and by that it actually creates a different reality where we can be aware of everything. Look at the animals. Let's say the whales. They are one with their reality. They have a sonar where the sonic wave is going out, and when it comes back, they're aware of everything, where everything is. They don't have a judgment that this reef is bad, I'm not going there. They don't have a judgment that a shark is evil and I'm not going to see it. No, I'm avoiding it. Well, if you're avoiding it, you might not see when the shark is there, and the shark will eat you. In our lives, how many times it happened when you didn't see the shark, when you didn't see some person doing something to us, not to us, but something that would harm us, but we had a judgment that that person is wonderful. We trusted that person. By the way, that's not trust, that's blind faith. And if you don't know what trust is, I did a whole show on intimacy, and you can listen to those in archives where we talked about what is trust. It's basically realizing that the person will do exactly what they did before, nothing more, nothing less. When you do the blind faith, you're blinding yourself to what actually that person can or cannot do or be. And time flies. It's time for our third and final break of the show for the commercials. And just give you a pee break. When we'll return, we'll talk more, and we'll talk about upcoming shows. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself on Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Oops. Welcome to our, God, it's interesting. I spaced out with all that space that we've created. So welcome everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease on Inspired Choices Network. And today our show topic is Oneness. Are we there yet? It's funny because when we are space and oneness, there's no identity anymore. And so that's kind of like fun to observe when we're being that space, because all our molecules becoming intermingled with everything and everyone. And some people might object and say, no, I want to keep my identity. Well, what if your identity is the one that's keeping you from magic and miracles? What if your identity is what creates your dis-ease in the body? What if your identity is actually what creating stress in your life? And I don't mean giving up your identity as kind of like, oh, I'm no longer going to be a mother, I'm no longer going to be a doctor, I'm no longer going to be this and that. No, it's just about not taking it seriously. Oh yeah, I'm a mother. Cool. What can I be with that? What space can I be with that? What kind of oneness can I create with being a mother? It's all about being in the question, not the conclusion. It's about being, not doing. And we've done a lot of shows on being instead of doing. And what if it's about actually being that space of joy? Because when we are that space of being, that's a space of oneness, that's a space of joy, ease. When we look at we started talking about emotions in the first part, and we did expansion exercise, and there is an emotional scale, kind of like the vibration. And if you look at that, all the emotions and feelings are at the bottom. They are like very low numbers. And when you go into joy, love, oneness, those are extreme high numbers, because those are not emotions. Those are spaces of being. Those are the spaces of oneness. And we can talk about God and the universe and how we connected, how we're not connected. This is not about it. And yet, it's all about it. I don't want to go into definition. I don't want to go into religions. I don't want to go into any spiritual modality, like specifically. This is more about talking and creating a different space where you can function. And you can always be in that space of oneness just by dropping your barriers and expanding. And we expanded to the size of this planet, but you can expand to infinity. And with all of that, it's actually about being the joy, having fun. And we have only a few minutes left in the show. But next week, same place, same time, it's going to be money. Do you love or hate it? And we will talk about totally different reality where as soon as I said money, how many of you contracted immediately and left that space of oneness? What if you don't have to? What if money is the same energy as oneness, same energy as magic, same energy as love, and just allow yourself to expand even when you're talking about money or when you're asking for more money to come in. And we'll play with that next week. We'll play with tools of access consciousness, Akashic Records. Have no clue what we'll be talking about because it's all unprepared when it's live. And you can always ask questions in the chat room, and if it's appropriate or if it's kind of like time, I'll answer it. If not, I'll answer it the following week or the following week. And you can always contact me on different social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. YouTube, actually, you can watch all the shows. You can just allow yourself to email me. It's also possible through the website, or just email me helen.g@att.net. But just my request to you, what if when you wake up, instead of going into, oh my God, it's bad weather, oh my God, I have money problems, oh my God, I have, not without the God, it's like, oh shit, or whatever it is, whatever your favorite expression is, what if instead of that, you would just take a deep breath, open your crown, and allow the energy to flow through you and around you and expand. You can even, if you download the exercise and meditation from the website, from creatingabundancewithease.com, you can just plug it in and turn it on in the morning and just do that. I think it was 5 minutes, maybe less, maybe on website it might be a little longer, maybe a little shorter, but it doesn't take long to get into that space of being, that space of joy, that space of magic, that space of oneness. And it's time to go, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye. I guess it's another 5 seconds before we go. Sometimes it's interesting to observe. Mwah. Bye.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start creating magic in your life and your body.